I'm here with Major Chris Lokits, who is with the Louisville Metro EMS, and we're going to talk about summer safety.
Sure.
As we're standing here, it's a beautiful day, but it is hot, and it's also very bright, right? So there are lots of things to be aware of and to look out for. So let's get started. What are some of the ailments that people can potentially get if they're out in the sun too long?
Sure. You know, there's lots of things to take into consideration when you're out enjoying the sun and you know, the water parks that we have in Louisville. And, you know, one of those things is, you know, the sun, right? And so, you know, making sure that you have plenty of sunscreen on and that you're taking those precautions so that you don't get sunburns, you know, is a very important step when you're going outside. You know, another important thing to think about and consider is also staying hydrated. You know, when you're outside, you know, engaged in physical activities, you're going to become dehydrated. The heat naturally, as you're sweating, your body's trying to cool itself down. You're going to lose your water, and so it's important to make sure you stay hydrated, drink plenty of water. Try to avoid things like that are caffeine. So energy drinks aren't really the best. You know, and alcohol is also certainly not a great idea when it's really hot outside either.
Absolutely. And also, there's heat stroke and there's heat exhaustion. Can you tell us what are the signs of both of them and what's the difference?
Yeah, so, you know, the main thing is to think about is that if you start feeling ill when you're outside, it's probably time to go in, right? You should limit the amount of time that you're out in the extreme heat and again, hydrate. But if you start to feel ill, you're nauseous, sick to your stomach, you start having a headache, things like that, those would be an indication that maybe it's time to take a break, you know, or if you start to feel weak. And then, you know, as it progresses, if you don't heed those warning signs, you know, you may start to become where you can't really control your thoughts, you know, and so the person may seem like they're kind of out of it or talking out of their head and things like that, and having what we call an altered mental status. And that's really the progression to heat stroke. And so at that point, you know, the most important thing that we can do for that person is to move them inside into a cool environment and cool them down as quickly as possible. You know, whether that's cold rags, you know, putting them in a cold tub. Those are really important things in those situations because their temperature is critically high, and we need to get it lowered as quickly as possible so that they don't suffer long-term brain damage.
Okay. So there are some of the things to watch out for because it is summer, we want to go outside, we want to enjoy it. One thing too that you might want to keep in mind is we have our caps on.
Yes.
I know, because we don't have anything else up there to keep us from getting sunburned, right? So you do want to be aware of that situation as well, because the sun hits any part that's an uncovered body.
You know, clothing is always a great thing to think about. You want light-colored clothing that's breathable, cotton, you know, something that's going to keep you cool, but also help protect your skin. So even if you wear sunshade, you know, clothing that might be long sleeve, but it's specifically designed to help protect you from the sun as well.
That's great. Again, I'm talking with Major Chris Lokits, who is with Louisville Metro EMS. Thank you very much for this great advice.
Yep.